There we go. All right. So thank you, sir, for joining us today. I appreciate it. If you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/GOGOTIX, where you can see the other side of this conversation. Dig Dug is much more handsome than I. So on Instagram, you're only going to see my ugly face. But if you head over to youtube.com/GOGOTIX, you're going to see the other side of the conversation. You can ask questions over there in the chat. You can also text any of your questions to 202-410-4843 if you have them. Again, thanks, Dig. I appreciate you joining us today.
My pleasure.
Trying to figure out why the names aren't coming up. I want the name to. I want the name to come up because I want people to know that it's Dig Doug from the video. Not it's DUG, not DOUG. Because I see people post that shit all the time, and I'm like, that's not his name. I'm trying to figure out why it's not coming up. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's set to show the display names. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. But if you're watching this, it's DIGDUG Dig Dug. It's not Doug like Douglas. It's Dig Dug. So let's go ahead and get started. Uh, Dig, tell everybody about how you got started in the music business, the go-go business. How did you get started?
Basically walking around with drumsticks, beating on fences and shit, just air drumming and shit. And somebody saw me.
So wait a minute though. Why did you have the drumsticks in the first place? How did you even know that that's something you wanted to do?
Going to see EU.
So okay. So you already knew about bands. It wasn't like you just like were a little kid that didn't know anything about music. All right. So
I was going to see EU a lot, man. I used to love EU, so I used to go see EU a lot. And air raid, EU and air raid.
Like outside? Like how old were you at this time? Like you couldn't go to the club, right? You were.
I was young. I would go to Crystal Skate.
Oh, you go to Crystal Skate. Okay. Okay. All right.
Crystal Skate in different like little schools. When I went to Kenley Elementary, they played there.
They played at the elementary school? Oh wow, I never knew that. I knew they played at middle schools and high school. I never knew any of the bands played at the elementary schools. That's what's up.
Yeah, they did.
Well, that's an interesting point because I think that may have a decent amount to do with the fact that nobody under 25 really cares about go, or at least 21 really cares about go-go anymore. Well, the people that came up, in your era and our era were listening to it in elementary school, and now they don't. So that's a good point. So okay, so you're hearing you're seeing you and air raid at your school and at Crystal Skate, and you're like, I want to do that. Did you want to play the drums or did you want to play the timbales or like what did you want to play?
Drums. I always wanted to play the drums, but
okay.
I mean, you know what? Actually, even before they saw me playing with my drumsticks and stuff like that, I was real young. I was living in Continental, and they always would have like little bands playing on the playground, and I would come down there and try to sit on the drum. That's when we had buckets and stuff. But I was a little kid, so the big boys always took the good instruments. Like, man, get your little butt out of here, so nobody could play the rollertons. So I ended up getting some paint cans and put sand in them to make them all sound different. And I would just hit them joints every time they get out there. I would go grab my cans and hit them joints. And I ended up just sticking with the rollertons. And Ern Long from Chance Band gave me some timbales, took them to my house, started playing on them. And that was just how I ended up, playing rollertons. A couple other times I tried to play the drums, but sucked at it.
So because this is what I know about you. You are like super particular about the way shit sounds and you want to make sure that it's done right. So how meticulous were you with the sand? Would you like sit there? I just imagine a little young Dig Dug like pouring the sand and hitting it and then pouring some sand out and hitting it again and keep doing it until it sounds exactly the way you want. Is that what you did?
Yeah, because they had to have that sound.
Of course, of course. So, but this is important, and the point of this series is to try to like get get information from people within the culture about things that were done right and things that were done wrong, and what my pursuit is of national, international exposure for go-go on a sustained level. So it's important to realize that the more successful people within this industry don't just get up there and bang on shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not just getting up there banging on shit from a very early age. Your ear was starting to be developed to realize this sounds good, this doesn't sound good, so I gotta fix this to make it sound good. So I wanted to point that out because that's something that I already know about you. A lot of people might not know that about you, but it shows me that you started that as an early, at an early age, and it's something that served you throughout your life. So okay, so the guy from Chance Band gave you Aaron Long from Chance Band gave you some timbales, and what you just had them in your house and you just practice them all the time, or like or you would take them outside and play with the guys on the buckets.
Well, when Ern gave me those timbales, it was when after I lived in Continental. That's when I was sixth grade. I moved to Fairfax Village.
Okay.
That's when I got the timbales because Ern Long was from Fairfax Village. So I
Okay.
got the timbales then, and those were the timbales I still played with Northeast. Those were Thunder Tims he gave me.
The same ones you still got now, or the ones like through the '90s?
The ones that I had until a few years ago. The
Oh
stuff
wow.
I play on now is new because I got pissed off at Gogo and I kicked them joints out the door.
Oh, I remember. I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're
I
not
gave
gonna,
them my
we're not
little
gonna talk
cousin.
about. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So okay. So at this point, you're just playing the timbales in the house, though. You're not with a band, right? You just.
Nah, I was too young, man. I mean, it wasn't no bands in Fairfax Village except for like Reds and the boys, and they were big boys,
Gotcha.
so
So
wasn't nobody to play with.
so how did you know what to do though? Like how did you know? Like you just like were you just listening to tapes and or records or whatever, and then just mimicking it, or how did you know? Because I assume you didn't have like a timbali instructor. So how did you know how to get better? Like how did you know what was good and what was bad?
I just listened to like every band that was out. Like I listened to every band. I didn't have like I love the EU, but I
Mhm.
loved Air Raid, EU, Class, Peacemakers, Pepworth, everybody.
Oh, you gotta say Trouble Funk because we got Tbone on here watching.
Trouble Funk was the first ones.
Right, right.
That's
Yeah,
how I did a little shoebox radio, and that was the first band I would stick my little tape in and listen to Trouble Funk. Man, I used to go crazy off Trouble Funk.
there you go. Well, we got our good friend Tbone in here saying what's up to you. So
T-Bone, what's up, baby? I love T-Bone.
I know, man. That's my man. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
So okay, so you're listening to the bands, you're practicing on timbales. When is your first opportunity to actually play with a band?
Northeast groups.
Oh, that was the first band you ever played for? I don't think I ever knew that. I for some reason thought you had played for somebody before that. All right, so tell us the story. How did you get in the band?
I was over my grandmother's house in Kentland, Kilmer Street. Kentland, I was kind of like raised there too. In Kentland, and I was just walking around with my sticks, boom, banging on stuff. And I was walking down the street one day, beating on a fence. And Kyrie aunt was on that street. Her name is Lynn.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Paulette.
No, it was Lynn. Lynn was over there, and she was over one of my cousins' house, Big Mo.
Yep. Big Mo.
Yeah, she said, "You play drums?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't play drums. I play roller tom." She said, "Okay, I know a band looking for a drum. Looking for a drummer." I was like, "Oh, it ain't me." She said, "Well, I think they're looking for a roller tom player too." So she ended up giving me Miss Pratt's number. I called Miss Pratt. And Miss Pratt was like, "We looking for a drummer, but we also looking for a roller tom player." So I was
Mhm.
like, damn, what can I do? So I had this buddy around the village named Chris that used to think he could play the drums. He
Mhm.
had no drum set or nothing. He just used the air drum. And I was like, man, I'm taking this motherfucker because he had a car. I was like, man, come on, try out for this band with me. So he took me down there. So they gave him a chance to try out. They ain't like him, you know. I could tell they ain't like him. So I tried out. He tried out. And Miss Pratt called me upstairs. And I was nervous as hell. I was like, man, they gonna kick us out this motherfucker because Slim can't play the drums. So she was like, your friend, he he's not good at all. But
I can hear her saying it too.
yeah, she said he's not good at all. I said, okay, well, you want me to we can pack up and leave. She said, well, they think you the bomb. I was like,
Oh
for
wow.
real? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, all right. So it was, it was cut and dry from there. And
So who was
he
in the
never
band?
came see me play, dog.
Say what?
He was so mad that he didn't get the job. He's never seen me play in ever.
This whole time he's still salty?
He's never,
Oh,
never. When we got super hot, people in the hood would talk about the village. Village would talk. Fairfax Village would talk about me and stuff. He'd be like, man, shit, man, I'm gonna go see Essence. Well, he was just like a motherfucker. So
that's so. Who was in the band? Who was in the band at the time when during the day of this audition? Who was already there? Obviously Kyrie because it was his band, but who else?
it was Kyrie, Mo, Andre on drums, Tom, Smiling Congos. Uh, we had Black Mike on the front line, Daryl playing the trumpet. It was another trumpet player. It was two trumpet players, two sax players. I remember one sax player was
Oh, wow.
Saxmo. Um, dude named Mike on the front line. Who was lead rapping? I think it was Boo. Fat Boo was rapping back then.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a huge band.
Yeah, I never even knew that there was horns in the band at all. Like that, this never came up in any of the stories that I've ever had with or ever heard from anybody in the band or even on this show. That's crazy. I didn't know. No
Yeah,
idea.
it was that band. It was actually only people from that band was just that you guys would know would be me and Tommy and Kyrie and
And Mo. Yeah.
Mo.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So okay, so what's up, Michael? Michael Johnson, Ricky from Hucklebucks wants to know you didn't listen to Sheila E. when you were coming up to learn from
Nah, I just listen to straight go-go. Like
Straight Gogo.
that's why my style is the way it is. Like certain things people can do, I just be like, I'm just straight go-go. Like when they started doing the marching, they brought the marching band stuff in. It was like I never played in a marching band. I'm just straight go-go feel. Like
Right.
that's it.
That's what's up. So okay, so your boy didn't make it. So who did you say was playing drums? Who actually did they bring in?
They
When
had Andre there while he was trying out. They
oh
wanted
Andre
me.
was there? Why your boy was trying?
Yeah, Andre
Dang,
was there.
that's savage.
Yeah, he was there while they was trying him out, trying to get him to. They was trying to get rid of him. So
And like right in his face. This is
he was right there, dog.
wow. That's that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but that's savage. So okay, so how long after that did Jeff come through?
Man,
It was a while after that.
yeah, it was a while because when I got there, I was 14.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was 14, and Jeff came around. Jeff was like in high school, I think, like
Mm,
Fairmont Heights, I believe.
gotcha.
Like Jeff, I can't remember. I can't, man. It's been a long road with Northeast. I can't
Hey,
remember how
listen,
long it was.
I had Jeff, I had Kyrie, I had 32 all on the show so far, and I don't remember shit that any of them said, and that was only like a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna let you slide on the fact that you don't remember what happened 30 years ago or whatever. So it's all good. It's all good. So okay, so when did you start like when did you realize that this was the band that you wanted to stay with? And when did you realize that something was starting to really happen?
Uh, when we were doing little shows, like, well, I was with them. I actually quit the band like twice. You know, I quit. I remember quitting one day, and they played at Fort DuPont Park, and somebody was like, "Man, it's a band down there playing at Fort DuPont Park," and Fairfax Village was right by Fort DuPont Park. So we walked down there to see the band, and we walked as we was getting closer. We was like, "Man, they cranking." You know, they was like, "Yeah, they cranking, dog." And we gets down there, and it's them. They was like, "Ain't that the dudes you was playing with?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Damn." They was like, "You stupid, man. You quit." So I
Wait,
was
so
right
why did
back
you
like,
quit?
uh, "Hey y'all, can I play again?" And they was just like, "Yeah, come on back."
Oh wow.
You
I
know,
thought I thought you quit because they were playing without you, but you had already quit.
yeah,
Do you remember why you quit?
man, I was wild, man. I was wild, man. I was an asshole,
Was. No, I'm just playing.
man. I was an asshole, man. I was quick tempered, want shit my way. I was an asshole, man. But yeah, I think I realized that I wanted to stay with them probably uh it was before we made it, you know, because I
Mhm,
started becoming friends with everybody and stuff like that. Around
mhm.
the time when I was in Job Corps, a little bit before we made it, I was in Job Corps, and I used to jump the fence at night when it's time to go to bed to go to practice and stuff like that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like I knew we was making it when we started doing like shows with Big Butch and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, that's probably around the time I played. Oh, this is gonna be something. And we did that Battle of the Bands at we did the Battle of the Bands. We won the Battle of the Bands, and then I think we played with opened up for Rehearsals, and that
I
was
think
it
I
for
remember.
us.
I think I remember this part of the story. Yeah. Real quick, because my wife and my brother-in-law, who you know, youngin, are on Instagram. Guys, go to youtube.com/GogoTix so you can see the other side of the conversation. Anybody that's over on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/GogoTix and you'll be able to see Dig Dug and you know on his side of the conversation and hear him a little bit better. So head on over right now. So okay, so you quit the band twice. You jumped over. So how important? So you say you jumped over the fence from Job Corps to go to rehearsal. And one of the things that's sort of legendary about Northeast Groovers that I talked to some of the other guys about too is how rigorous the rehearsals were and how important it was. Like that y'all would be, you know, rehearsing in a flooded basement, standing on cinder blocks with a, you know, Kyrie playing through a boom box, you know, for a bass speaker. So what was it that made y'all so, because like now you couldn't get anybody to do that now. Why did you think that was important? Like why in your 16, 17-year-old mind or however old you were, why was it so important for you to jump over the fence to get to rehearsal?
You wanted to be there. Like you wanted that band that was gonna be the best band. Like I mean, you was hungry. You was hungry. You was like you kept seeing these older bands play. You was like, I need to do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And then you know come Junkyard come along. You like I know I can do it now. They're kids. You know,
Right,
kids doing it. I can do it. I'm their age. You know.
right,
So
right.
you just had that drive, that hunger. You just nothing could stop you. Like it was like nothing else in the world mattered but to get to be in the number one band. Nothing else matters. School ain't matter. Nothing ain't matter. Telling you.
What do you think changed? Why isn't it like that anymore? Why is everybody so complacent? I mean, we don't got to get too deep into it because we're gonna talk about this later. But why can you point to anything that you think changed that? Because it's definitely not that culture anymore.
Yeah, I can't speak for really nobody else but myself. But I think with me, I just got a little burned out from it, man. I expect more from it. I expected more from it that I ever got. Just feel like I just feel like was being used. It's just like everybody made money except for me. And I'm not just saying me, the only person in the band. I'm saying me as a band member and other band members. Like I just feel like everybody got money except for us, man. Security would go home with more money than us, man. You'd be like, dang, like, we bring all these people in here. They just went on for so long, and you start feeling like I devoted my whole life to this, like everything to this, and nobody cares about me. Like it's all about who's doing the shows. And to
Well,
this day, it's
so
still like that.
so yeah, I definitely want to dig further into that. But so what was your? You said you didn't get what you thought you thought you were going to get out of it. So if you're looking at the EU and I'm a little murky on the time period, so I'm assuming this was pre the butt, like this was before they were a national success, right? They were still just DC legends, right? At the time when you were looking up to them, right?
Yeah.
So so if that was your definition of success of playing locally,
Well,
is
the
that
buck was they was doing the buck was kind of
sort of what
around
was
that
out
era
at
because
this
that's
time?
when Sugar Bear was around the corner from E Streets and he had the Porsches and all that stuff.
Oh wow. Okay. So your expectation or your thought process as Northeast Groovers is coming up is that you want to be that. You want to be on MTV, you want to be have a Porsche. And am I getting that right or is that
Well,
wrong?
at first it wasn't that. It was just to be in the Gogo band,
Right.
the
Right.
local star and stuff like that. But
Right.
as you know, time went on, you start saying, man, this can do something, because we were playing up and down the East Coast with all the rappers, you
Hmm.
know, and they were like loving Gogo. So we was like, why can't we do that? Why can't we make money like them? You
Right.
know? So, but never happened.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're gonna dig further into those things because that to me, I think that's super important stuff. Obviously, I mean, you know me. Um, my man Brooks, guitar player from Reactions out here in California, with me now, says, "What's up to the Beard Gang?" So,
Uh, what's up?
uh,
What's up? What's up?
Big Doug got me on the beard. Like I thought I was doing good, and yeah, you shit it on the beard. But okay, so all right, so you start to realize that this is, you're starting to do the big butch shows, and this was I assume pre straight from the basement, right? Pre before you put the album out, right? You still
Yeah.
you start to realize that something is happening. Okay, so what was the process like of actually making that album? Like, what did you think? What did you what let me rephrase the question. What was the process like versus what your expectation was? Like, what did you think it was going to be like, and what did it really end up being like?
I mean, it was what I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
Studio, you in studio, nice studio. From what I hadn't been in really too many studios, but
right.
that studio was nice. You in there, I mean, I ain't really, couldn't
You
expect
never know.
too much, like,
Right.
but
Not
it
bad.
was cool, it was like, damn, we in studio, just gonna be on the radio, we're gonna play on the radio. But at that point, you was still kind of like, still pushing on that local celebrity, like
Mhm.
being hot here, being hot here. It was a little bit after that, straight from the basement, when you really was like, and you know what I mean? Let me get this straight though. Like, my whole thing wasn't that uh, the national level, us not getting to a national level, really made me not want to play no more. It
Right.
was just how you was getting treated local,
Right.
you know, because you know, you can make good money here, but I just don't think it's the blueprint of it is just not set up for bands to make the money, you know.
So you think it's set for the promoters to make the money? Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's who get all the money. That's who get all the money. Cause
Hmm.
I know damn sure ain't no promoter going home with $250.
Well, I can say that as someone who has promoted some shows in my time, I've definitely gone home with negative $250 plenty of times. But yeah, but I do agree with you. I think that there is um there's a weird thing. Well, first of all, there's no music economy like go-go anywhere else in the world. There's nowhere else where you can go and you can hear, see the same band play 3 to 4 times a week in the same venues at concert ticket prices to play in a little shitty club and charge people $100 more to wear tennis shoes, and people are coming back every week. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't even exist anywhere else. There's nowhere else that this happens in the world. And so there's two things that I think happen. One is that the smaller bands are paid too much, and the bigger bands aren't paid enough. And this is based upon my having booked bands all over the country and all over the world. Hey, what's up, Gil? Red Gil, there he is, my man. So that's based upon that experience, because artists that don't sell as many tickets as go-go bands, in other markets, like they don't get paid that much. You know what I'm saying? And but when you sell, if an artist comes to and sells out Echo Stage or sells out Ibiza, like we did for the reunion, there's a lot of money being made there. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't really trickle down to the band members. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
okay. So, but we're gonna get back a little deeper into that later. So Straight from the Basement comes out. What was the first single that hit the radio? Was The Water the first one to hit that really started hitting? Oh no, it was Van Dam, right?
Bad,
Van
bad.
Dam,
Yeah.
yeah. So what was that like? What was it like the first time hearing yourself on the radio?
It was insane. You felt like a star.
Right.
You felt like a star, though. I mean, that was just everybody wanted to hear themselves on the radio. And you felt like a star, and they just kept playing that joint.
Well,
Like
first of
that.
all, you were stars because I grew up right down the road where you are now in Annapolis, and literally y'all were as big to us as Biggie or Pac or anybody that was on the radio at the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all were stars. No, no bullshit.
Yeah, we were playing with them. We played with them before too. So
I know. I remember.
we were playing with all the rappers. It was crazy. It was just crazy to see the difference. But
Well, what did
it
you
is what
know?
it is.
Well, stay there for a second. What did you notice was the difference? Like when you played with the rappers, what do you remember about those shows?
I remember pretty much. Well, I mean, you can see I mean, you just feel like, okay, these guys on video, they on videos, they on TV a lot, and we right here with them playing on these shows with these people. So what's stopping us from being on TV and videos and stuff? So you wanted the same thing, but you just like, why can't we get there? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but then you will also see the difference in how they treated the rappers versus how they treated us, like your dressing rooms, uh, nothing, barely even water for you, man. Like,
Right.
you know, the rappers was big dogs, but like that, we on the same show. Like we're on this card too. So what makes them get treated better than us?
What was the response of the crowd to Northeast Groovers versus the rappers?
It was always much, like it was insane. Like everybody always waiting for the bands. Like the bands was it. But I can tell you one bad experience we had though. Uh, We went. I forgot where we were, man. We played so many places out of town. We played somewhere out of town, and they kept yelling for Northeast. Like they had some go-go people in the front. This whole crowd was pretty much from other places. I could tell they ain't know nothing about go-go, but you had a group of people in the front that knew all about go-go, and they just kept saying Northeast, screaming Northeast, 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 and we got up there. Everybody was nice. Man, we started playing. We started off with a Tony, Tony, Tony song. Joe, that whole crowd went like this. Like, who the fuck is that? What the fuck are they playing that song for? Like, that's not Tony, Tony, Tony. What the fuck are they doing? You know, and I
Right.
was like, right. Ever since then, I was like, damn, them motherfuckers they don't recognize that shit. It's like we just stole somebody's music and shit.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest sort of uh checks against Gogo is the cover song shit. But it's different. Like there's difference between doing a cover song and doing a remake. You know what I'm saying? Like there's, but anyway, we go all the way down the rabbit hole on that. So what were some of the rappers that y'all play with, or some of the artists that you play with that you remember? I mean, Biggie and Pac, famously, of course. That was the same show, wasn't it? At Bowie, wasn't it at Bowie State?
Yeah, yeah. We played with Lords of the Underground a lot.
Uh-huh.
Keith Murray, Redman, and Method Man was with us a lot. Different places. Karas one. Um, we played with Blackstreet. Shit, man, it was so many. I can't remember all the rappers, man. It was so many. I don't even remember, a lot of those rappers from back in the day. But it
Right,
was a lot of them, because we
right,
were always gone somewhere playing at a college, and we were playing so much at colleges. On the weekend, we started feeling like we was abandoned. We was abandoned in DC. You
right.
know, we was gone so much. It was like we leaving space for everybody else to come up. Because we ain't here playing.
Right. Well, so what were you said the rappers were like they loved it, right? So do you remember any like specific instances where somebody was like, y'all, y'all sound great, or anything like that? What was the rapper's response specifically to you guys? Like, what did they
They
say?
would always stand on the side of the stage and look at us and just be like amazed that they were amazed that like drums, congos, and rototom. That was what they were looking at. Drums, congos, and rototom. They was amazed at it. And I remember playing with Keith Murray one time, and we went down to the dressing room, and he came down and he stopped me. He was like, "Man, that go-go shit, man, I like that." He was like, let's do something together." And I was like, "That'll be cool." He was like, "Man, we could do something like, the most beautiful thing in the world is go-go," because he
Yep,
had
yep,
just
yep.
like that. So
I
he was
get
like, "The
it.
most beautiful thing in the world is go-go," and I was like, I ran in. I was a kid, I ran in the
Right.
room telling this practice. They want to do something with us, but nothing came out of it.
Got you. Got you. So okay, so yeah, it's just amazing to me. I mean, like just what you're saying, is just bringing up memories for me because, like, I remember when I was filling in with Backyard for a while, we did. We went to Q Studios in Virginia and recorded a go-go remix of a song. I forget the name of the group, but they were produced by a songwriter producer named Brian Michael Cox, who's like literally one of the most famous songwriter, like Mariah Carey. He's written for and produced for everybody. Like he's a big songwriter.
Right,
And he just was sitting there just watching Buggy and Sauce, just fucking amazed with like his jaw on the ground. Like this dude has worked with every major artist in the world. And he's just
right,
like, that shit is amazing. Like I can't even believe what I'm watching right now. And then even more recently, since I've been out here in California, Trouble Funk got booked to play out here at this thing called the Cal Jam, which Big Tony is friends with Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is the old drummer for the Foo Fight. I mean, I'm sorry, the old drummer for Nirvana, and he's the singer and guitar player for the Foo Fighters, right? Which is his band. Literally the biggest rock star in the world. So him and Big Tony are friends because Dave Grohl's band used to open for Trouble Funk back in the day before he played for Nirvana, right? So they brought Trouble Funk out to play. It's a big festival they do every year outside of LA, and it's all rock bands. But the night before, they had Trouble Funk and they had a Police tribute band. Like the band The Police, but it was a tribute band to that. So Tony invited me. I came out. I'm standing on the side of the stage watching Trouble Funk, and they're cranking. But I've seen Trouble Funk a bunch of times. I've been around Gogo my entire life. I've been on stage with the, one of the best, if not the best, percussion section in the entire world. One of whom I'm talking to right now. So I'm not going to say I'm not impressed, but I'm just like, this is normal to me, right? I'm like, oh, they're cooking. All right, cool. 10 feet away from me, Dave Grohl, literally the biggest rock star in the entire world, is fanboying out over, I don't even know who the drummer, and it was not Tbone. It was Congo Larry, who's great, but he's not Tbone. And I don't remember the drummer's name. And they were cranking, but it wasn't like, damn, that shit is. It wasn't like me or you, like, damn, that shit is cranking. It was like, yeah, all right, it's cranking. And he literally was losing his mind, like, you see that? Do you see them? Do you see that? I'm like, dude, this dude like fucking headlines RFK Stadium. He's got a whole HBO show about him. He's literally played for two of the biggest bands in the entire world, and one of them is his band. One of them he was just a drummer in, but the other one is the Foo Fighters headlines stadiums all over the world, and he is sitting there looking at Trouble Funk like this is the most crazy shit I've ever seen in my life. So what the fuck are we doing, bro? Why we can't figure this shit out?
I don't know, man.
Okay, so that's a good segue into the next part of our story. If any, I know we're sort of like going a little bit fast over Northeast Groovers. So if anybody has any questions, additional questions about Northeast Groovers or whatever that they want to ask in the chat, go ahead and ask that. But I'll just tell the story real quick about the night that I tried out for. Yeah, Northeast Groovers has a really shitty audition process because when they tried the drummer out, it was replacing the other drummer and he was right there. And when I had to audition, Miss Pratt was like, "Oh no, baby, we not having no rehearsals. You just come down to the ice box and play in front of like a million people." And my little pale ass was scared as shit. And I remember getting up on the stage and rapper was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Malachi." And he was like, "Can I just call you Red?" Like, I'm not trying to pronounce that shit every night. And then you at the end of the night was like, "Man, Funky Reds, Dirty Reds, that's what we calling you from now on." What did you That was like the highlight of my life. I was scared as shit to get up there and play with y'all. So yeah, so all right. So any bands that are watching have a better audition process than Northeast Groovers has because yeah, it was not good. But so all right, so moving on past Northeast Groovers. So you were instrumental in help as was my man Gil who's on here. Appreciate you, sir. And actually Tbone who's on here too, because Tbone gave me a lot of really great advice. I didn't even know who Tbone was at first. Like I just knew he worked for Rio and he used to, be at all of our shows. I didn't even know that he was the Tbone from Trouble Funk for a very long time because he's so humble. He just never even said anything. And then once I found that out, he just started dropping jewels. And I was like, shit, man, tell me everything. I want to know. But you were very instrumental and very encouraging and very helpful to me in starting Mambo sauce. Oh no, wait, I got to back up a little bit because You were the reason that I started Mambo Sauce. I want to make sure that credit is given where credit is due. You were the reason that I started Mambo Sauce. And for anybody that doesn't know this story already, we when Rapper left Northeast Groovers, we changed to Solo, right? Which, remember, that was going to be the name of my management company, but I gave it to the band. And so the me, you, and Ron Moten, Red Door Mo, used to argue all the time about whether Solo should be playing a bunch of cover songs. And you told me this is, and I've brought this up multiple times on this interview series, and you told me multiple times, well, this is Gogo. That's what Gogo is. And my argument to you would be, you are Dig motherfucking Doug. Gogo is whatever the fuck you say it is because you're Gogo. And I don't remember what you said, but you probably were like, shut the fuck up or something like that. I don't know. But we used to, I mean, in a friendly way, we would argue about that all the fucking time. And I remember I left. I was like, I'm not trying to play in a cover band, so I'm going to Las Vegas. I moved to Las Vegas, and then I moved to Los Angeles. And then I was trying to get you and Keyboard Chris and Kyrie to move out here to California because you had called me one night and said Northeast Groovers had the opportunity to sign with what was it called? Rock Music. It was Kenny I think it was Kenny Burns' thing that he was doing with Rockefeller Records. It was like their alternative stuff that they were going on. I don't remember exactly what it was. You know better than me because you were there. I just remember you calling me about it. What was the story there?
I don't even remember it.
Yeah, well, you were mad because somebody in the band had dropped the ball on what was supposed to happen, whatever you guys were supposed to turn in. Maybe you were supposed to submit something or something, and it didn't get submitted, and so y'all lost your shot at signing to Rock Nation. And you called me, and I felt like it was the middle of the night, and you were pissed, and you were like, "Now I see what you were saying the whole time because we could have did that shit, and we fucked it up, you know." And you saying that to me is what made me feel like, okay, if Dig Dug, this person that I look up to and I respect and used to argue with about this shit all the time, is telling me that now you understand what I'm saying, then maybe that means maybe it means I should do it. And then that's when I was trying to get y'all to move out to California to do it. But y'all didn't want to move out to California, so that's when I came back and started Mambo Sauce. And I just want to make sure that everybody in the world knows that if you had not called me that night pissed off about the shit, there probably would be no welcome to DC. So I gotta tip my hat to you and give you the credit for that, man, and the appreciation. So, so everybody knows that. So you were there for most of Mambo Sauce career, and so the reason I'm bringing this up is because the point of this show is to not just the point of this show is there's a lot of misinformation that's shared around the go-go community about how the greater music industry works. I'm not going to say the real music industry because both are real, but and so I want to get some of those things corrected. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like it's important to bring up to talk about what bands do right, like you just described about how these super popular rappers are looking at the bands like this is the most amazing shit I've ever seen. So we do that right. We do the live part right. But and I'm gonna shut up because I know I've been talking and it's your interview, but throughout the time that you were there and saw what was going on with Mambo Sauce and knew what I was trying to accomplish, what did you see that went right and what did you see that went wrong that might help another band that's trying to do something more than just be a local celebrity? if anything?
I can't even really say what I saw that went wrong, you know, because that joint just kind of like just hit a like a brick wall or something. Like it was like all of a sudden to me, you know, because I was like, damn, they doing so good. Like they doing everything they need to do. You know, they had all the elements. You know, they when I was around them, they just seemed like they loved each other so much. So that was cool. And the structure of the music, you know, the quality of the music they were doing. It was like, you know, there's some next level shit. This shit can take them where they need to be. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And you know, hopefully that shit can open up more doors. You know, some people might follow that blueprint or take pieces of it or, you know, do what they're gonna do with it and, you know, use it for what it's worth to follow it, you know. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's that I felt like that band was getting ready to be the band that next level band after like EU and all them try, you know, did their thing. I was like, Mumble Sauce is gonna break through, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But that's like me, that shit just hit a brick wall. I was like, what the heck happened? Like it was just like bam, like it's over. It's like what happened? Oh, you know. And I just that was just another thing that made me be like, go go. There it goes. Like it's what's going on. Like it's always something, Joe.
So let's talk about that. So you mentioned that you had this set of timbales that was given to you very young until at one point you just said fuck go, I'm over it, and you got rid of them. What brought you to that decision?
Uh pretty much just just pretty much looking at my squad just like fall apart. Like, you know, it's like I had no desire to play with anybody else ever. You know what I'm saying? That was my squad. You know, I was playing with them. It was like to the end. You know, northeast to the end. You know, so when it wasn't no northeast, it was just pretty much like, you know, I don't even want to touch these joints no more. You know, what I mean, I ain't gonna play with nobody else. So I ended up just like my little cousin was in my house one day downstairs beating on them, and they was like, man, I want some of these joints. I said, take them with you. They was like, for real? And my little cousin took them to college.
Oh,
And they did, yeah, they had them at college playing with them, and um, I just was numb to go, you know, like man, whatever. And I just ended up becoming like, um, it was just like I just ain't want nothing to do with it no more. You know what I'm saying? And I would see, I would hear, you know, go go and still love it. You know, you can't help but love it. It's in my blood. I still loved it, but I just kind of felt like ashamed, like just like you know, people asking you all the time, you know, your kids, your family members, people in the street, you know, and you just like, yeah, I keep telling the same old story, man. You just like, you know, I was in Annapolis, I was pretty much like, I'm staying out, stay away from me. Like, don't even, like, you know, we had get togethers around here, and if anybody talked to me about it, it was just pretty much like, I had some of my friends would be like, he ain't talking about that. You know, he don't want to talk about that. You know, he ain't tripping on, like, he don't want to talk about it, you
right.
know, but, um, you know, when they got back together and said they'll do some shows, you know, I mean, you can't help but get with them because you know, that's your squad. You know, no matter what they go through, you're gonna still be there. You know, as much as you can and try to roll with them. But yeah, I was done with it, man. And I'm kind of still numb to it though. You know, like when I play now, like my hands don't do, you know, what my brain say that. You know, my brain could be just like do this, and my hands just be like I just can't do it, like, cause I'm just
Nah, that
still like,
ain't what I hear.
huh?
That ain't what I hear. I heard some video. You still cranking that shit.
Mm, yeah, I probably gotta be drunk out of my fucking mind. Nah, I don't know, man. It's just my saying is, I know we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot. You know, people went this way, people went that way, people, you know, didn't want to play. People, you know, said they'll never play. But when you come back together and you play those little shows, it shows me that you can play together. You
Right.
know, you still coming, you coming, getting on the same stage, you playing together. And my whole motto was like, if you're gonna be in go-go, still playing go-go, why not play for the winning team?
Right.
Like, why are you not playing for the winning team, but you playing for all these other teams instead of the winning team? And the winning team is still there for you to play for. The fans are still there, like, what the hell? What do y'all want to
Right.
do?
We still want to hear it. Yeah.
You know? And I just can't grasp that. Like, I can't get a grip on that. You know, it's like, I don't get it, man. And then you see the other bands like Jump go through what they went through. Like, them motherfuckers rebels. Like, they rebels, dog. They went through so much, man. And look at them. They still there. They still there. Backyard, still there. All that shit Red Essence went through, still there. You
Yeah.
know, and we're one of them elite bands, and it's just like it just rubs me the wrong way, man.
I
You
hear you.
know.
Well, what do you think if somebody's watching that is starting a band or is part of a band or wants to start a band or whatever, if anybody even wants to start bands anymore, what made Northeast successful in the late '80s throughout the '90s, all the way up until whatever when I was there, 2001, I guess. What made the band so successful? You think like were there certain like things that you learn from Miss Pratt or certain you know what I'm saying, or like were there certain things that you feel like could translate to somebody else trying to do something, like lessons that you learned through Northeast that you feel like made the band successful that other people could follow to try to make their band successful too?
No,
No, nothing.
no, man. I don't know what to say. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what made us successful. I guess just I don't know. Shit, we was just out of nowhere. That shit just turned into it was like an overnight thing. You know, I don't know. I mean,
But do
I
you think?
I think with I think one thing I don't know. I know we just studied go go.
Mhm.
Like we studied everybody. You know, we studied everybody, so we didn't. We were able to like create styles off of knowing everybody's style, like everybody's sound. So you created your own sound out of learning how to play like Shorty Tim, learning how to play like Shorty Doug, Davy Boy, and stuff like that. It's like, where do I fit in? How do I become them without being exactly like them? You
Mhm.
know, and I think that was everybody in the band. That's how it was back then. Like now, it just seems like everybody say, "I like that band." That sound like that band.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not sure if it's like still like that because the bounce beat bands, they all have, they have a, completely different sound, which I love the bounce beat bands,
Yeah,
man.
me
I
too.
don't know what it is, man, but they sound like the bounce beat bands.
Yeah, me
But
too.
um, I think it was just pretty much us knowing go-go, like the history of go-go, knowing everything about go-go, that made us be able to create a great sound to make us successful. That's the only thing I can really say about it. Like
Well,
other
let me
than that,
dig
Miss
in a
Pratt
little bit
holding us
more.
together.
Right. Well, let me dig in a little more. Dig in a little bit more because we already talked about the rehearsals. So, okay, so you're saying uh, that you hyper focused and studied other people in go-go and used what you learned from them to create your own style, which is definitely an important strategy. You rehearsed incessantly to the point where you were breaking out of job corps to go to rehearsal. You, at least from what Kyrie and Jeff said, you guys were rehearsing multiple times a week for many hours at a time under adverse conditions like flooding and lightning
Water like this thick,
striking,
man.
and yeah, and so like nothing was stopping you from doing that. And obviously, you were kids at the time. There's a different mentality, etc. But the fact remains that you were hyper disciplined about getting the result that you wanted and studying what other people were doing that were getting the result that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? And using that as a template to sort of create your own lane, like taking the best parts of what they did and meshing it with your stuff. So that is a lot. But if I remember correctly, um, from stories that you told me, and I do remember also like when I was in the band, like we would get in your minivan. This was already out well after you guys had played with Biggie and Pac and done all kinds of huge shows. I distinctly remember getting in your minivan, and I feel like this was Northeast Groovers. It could have been solo. My memory's a little shoddy, but we would get in your minivan and drive around the city and put up posters, even after you were already successful. The band was already popping. So in the early days, did you what did how involved was the band in promoting themselves as opposed to just playing the music and letting a promoter do everything else?
Well, that was all we knew was to promote ourselves. Like that was the only way to go. Like that's what you did. Like
Hmm.
you got them global posters, and you went out every time you got those global posters. As soon as you got your hands on them, we went out in different crews. Like two people in this car, two people in that car, and we just hit everywhere. Jump out, put them posters up. You know, and then when we went to flyers, we did the same thing with the flyers. Like we handed out flyers, go through parking lots, put them on cars. We promoted ourselves with like, excuse me, we promoted ourselves with like jackets and stuff, wearing jackets around and said, Northeast Grooving and stuff. Um, I mean, we promoted hard. You couldn't do it. You couldn't play without promoting yourself. Like you had to, you know. Promoters was even like, you know, back in the day, they weren't using you if you weren't promoting yourself. You know.
Well, that's still the way it is in every genre of music except for go-go. You know what I'm saying? Like go-go now, bands don't feel like they have to do anything. They just feel like they just have to show up, play, get paid, and leave, like they're a wedding band or something. Where every other genre of music, you got to do exactly what you're describing. And yeah, you're not putting up posters on telephone poles anymore, but you still got to promote yourself on social media and video and all kinds of stuff. And it seems like that has become something that is looked down upon in go-go now. Like if the band promotes themselves, it makes them look thirsty or something, or I'm too good to promote myself. I'm too good to post a flyer. That's not my job. That's the promoter's job. And that's like that's
That's weird.
yeah, it's weird and it's dumb and it's wrong. And
I
so,
didn't even know it was like that.
oh yeah, it's definitely like that. It's extremely hard to get band members to promote their shows at all. And if they do put up the flyer on their Instagram or whatever, they're putting it up the day before or the day of the show, and only
Well,
after being pestered multiple times.
well, how do you get people?
They expect the promoter to do all of that. And maybe that's a backlash to what you were talking about earlier, which is the bands are promoting, the promoters are promoting, but the way the economics are set up, the promoters are walking away with all the money and the bands aren't. So maybe that's why musicians now feel like I'm not doing that. You do that because you're walking away with all the money anyway.
It could be.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that's looked that deep into it, but maybe that's what it is. That's what the underlying thing is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. But so sort of moving on from that, there was a period of time where you were, at least I think I was there, so I should remember. but you were the co-owner of G's, right? Or you were at least like in management. I don't remember exactly.
Partner.
So partner, yeah. So and that was for a few years, right?
Yeah, a couple of years.
So what did you and then I don't something happened with the Mad Chef and you were over there for a minute too. I don't remember exactly what that whole situation was. It's kind of blurry, but
Same two partners.
okay. All right. So what if anything did you learn from being on the club side, on the club ownership side about the go-go scene that you didn't already know from being in a band? Like what, because obviously it's a different, you got a different objective, you got a different set of challenges, you got a different perspective. Like, is there anything that you can share, like with, maybe other people that want to own a club or with band members that may not know what the club owner has to go through? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just a. I mean, it's just a. It was just a, like, to me. It was just the only difference that I could that I. I mean, what I could say about it was just like more. I understood their stress. I understood the stress that they had to go through dealing with bands. Like people, bands not cooperating. With them. Just the stress of just what's going to happen that night. Bands not keeping their crowds in control, and uh, doing certain things to like provoke fights. Crews and different stuff like that. And it was like, damn, you don't even really realize that shit is a problem, and that shit. Like, this is my livelihood. This is how I make my money on in this club, and the shit y'all doing gonna make these people go crazy and kill my dream, and you just gonna go to the next club.
Right. Well,
So
that's important. That's the thing. I think that there's a lot of, there's a lot of just sort of selfishness on both sides of like people not understanding what the other person has to go through. Like the bands don't understand what the promoter has to do or the club owner has to do or what their expenses are or whatever. And the club owners and the promoters don't really understand what the bands are going through to, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's a lot of that goes on. So I thought it'd be valuable to have, since you've been in both positions to sort of, have a little insight from that. Was there anything else?
nah.
Gotcha. Do you like ever see a path for Gogo to be on the level of something like hip hop, like genre wise? Like, do you see ever a point where Gogo bands or Gogo artists headline stadiums in
Yeah,
the country? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I believe it's possible. It's just all in what you got to do to make it possible. Like, you know, you got to create music that people want to hear. People want to buy. That people want to follow you. You got to get. You just got to figure out what it is that get other people. I mean, it's just the music, man. It's like the structure of the music. Like it's never structured, and it's not song formatted or nothing. Like, and that's what the world wants to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I could be wrong, but I kind of felt like it's just not structured enough for the world. The world ain't ready for the raw that we got. Which I do think that when we do songs and we structure them, that they are too watered down. Like, I don't think they like. I say we should have structured songs beginning, middle, end, hook, whatever, however you go about that. But I think that when they do structure the songs, they sound like they don't have that raw sound to them.
Hmm.
They have that poppy, boopy, beakity, beakity. Like they put all any kind of congos. Like when you come to the go-go and it's like boom, that the plex on the congos and the after voices and stuff like that. It's the prime example is like how we play somebody else's song.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to the go-go and play a rap artist or R&B song and kill it. The echo, the plex on the congos, the just the raw sound of it, the after voice and the raw sound of it. But then we'll go make a song up, and then it sound like uh, toy people playing it. Like
Like little Lego characters.
yeah, it just don't sound hard and raw like that, like it should sound. And I think that was one of the things that made Flex Water so tough because it was raw.
Right.
It had that raw sound, you know. It just had that raw. I think that we water our stuff down too much when it comes to saying. Yes, I say structure it. Structure your songs, song format your songs, but I still think they should have that go-go feel. It's go-go. It's our shit. Why can't it sound like we want it to sound? It's just song formatting.
Right.
The song's got that. It's just terrible,
Why do you think that happens?
man. I just remember. I don't know why it happens and anybody else can, but I just know me coming up and in the studio with my band, people would just be like, it has the sound industry. It has the sound industry. And I guess they feel like that's the way they would make it sound industry. But um, to me, it just sounds corny because, like, it just sounds corny. I mean, you playing at the go-go and it's driving, it's cranking, it's thumping, the plex, everything. But then you put a record out and it's like flat congos, way in the background. You can't hear them or nothing. And they could put any kind of cowbell, any sound in cowbell. Just sound like they took it off of a cow neck and boom, 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 boom. It'd be like, that ain't how y'all play at the go-go.
It sounds like you took it off the cow's neck. Yeah.
It's just like everything changes, you know. And it's been some instances where we had songs like that, you know. And I used to just get so pissed, yo, because you'll be in the club. We hung at the clubs a lot, and you'd be in the club and you would put on a Northeast Groover song. It'd be like ba 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 ba, and then the next song come on be a Rehearsals or back song, and it be driving, boom, cranking. I be like, here we go. That watered down sound, man.
How do you
But we
think?
didn't sound like that at the show.
So let me ask you a question. So you talk about how we record, like we play a rapper song in the go-go, right? And we totally transform it. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Daryl. If you guys want to see the other side of the conversation, head over to gogotix.co. I'm sorry, head over to youtube.com/gogotix, YouTube/gogotix, and you can see Dig Dug too. And the Instagram is going to end pretty soon as well. So make sure you head on over so you can see the whole thing. What if we just what if like Gogo didn't try to make songs that were, I mean, I'm just throwing out an idea. What if Gogo didn't try to make? I mean, this is not what I did. Well, obviously, with Mambo Sauce, you remember, you were there. Like, I tried to get as much of the live sound and like the real live sound and as possible. And we telling them turn the congos up, turn the congos up, turn the congos up, turn the cowbell up. But what if you just said, don't even try to recreate the live sound in the studio? Make like a whole new sound in the studio, and then crank the shit out of it live, like we do somebody else's song. You see what I'm saying? Like, instead of trying to take what you do on stage and make it work in the studio, make something totally different in the studio. And then when you play it live, just play it, crank it like you normally would any other song, but it's your song instead of
I
somebody
see
else.
what you're saying.
You know
I
what I
see
mean?
what you're saying. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. So another thing is like I feel like I don't know like the maybe I shouldn't even touch on that.
What?
So I should just leave that. Keep go ahead.
Not good. Well, before we go further, Mr. One Mercury said, Doug, he needs that pot and wrench. I don't know what that means, but I guess I know what he's talking about. I think I know what he's talking about. Talking about the sound of the pot and I got you.
Cowbell.
Yeah. It took. I thought he was like a client or something that needed something or something. Now I got it. Now I got it. um, so one of the things that I talked to White Boy about when he was on here a couple of weeks ago was it seems like what I was saying earlier, we know what we do well. Live, you can put any go-go band on in front of any crowd anywhere in the world, and they are going to crank that shit as long as they don't play a mint condition song first. So why don't we focus on that? Because this is the thing that I was talking about with White Boy. So the reason that go-go bands don't tour is because it's expensive as shit to get 11, 12 people to go play 6 hours away, 8 hours away, 12 hours away, right? And go-go bands over time have been trained to think that as soon as they leave the confines of Washington, D.C. or Maryland or Virginia, that they're supposed to get paid more money, right? I don't know where this came from, but it's definitely a thing. Everybody in go-go thinks that if I'm playing out of town, you're supposed to pay me more money because I got to pay for travel or I got to drive or I got to do whatever. Like, as, I'm a booking agent. I book bands and artists all over the world. That's not how it works. Your value is not based upon how far you have to travel. Your value is based upon how many tickets you can sell wherever you're playing. So if you're a go-go band and you're playing in New York, it doesn't matter how that you had to drive 4 hours. It matters how many people are going to pay money to come see you play. Because if you, as you know, as a club owner, you're not going to pay the band more money than what they brought in. You know what I'm saying? Or you're losing money. What's the point of doing it, right? So if Andre White Boy was talking about how they paid radio promoters to push their singles over time, I think he said they paid somebody $80,000 one time. I'm like, well, how come? Why don't we try to do this instead of spending a bunch of money to try to push songs or push records that you just mentioned correctly either sound watered down or they're not structured right or they're not going to appeal to somebody in Miami or whatever, Houston, you know, right? So what if you, instead of spending the money on that, spend the money on getting your band to Miami, getting your band to Houston, and you know that if you get in front of people, they're going to want to come back and see you next time you come play there because you're going to crank the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
guess what I'm saying is just instead of which has been my approach the whole time of trying to do something with GoGo, my whole approach has been figure out what's wrong with GoGo and fix it, as opposed to saying this is what's right with GoGo. Let's amplify that and put the money and the time and the effort into that instead of saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You know what I mean? What do you
Okay.
what do you think? Does that make sense? Do you think? Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Greg Jones, who is watching on Facebook, uh, made an angry face. I don't know what that means. So I must have said something wrong. Sorry, Greg Jones. Uh, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's really a viable thing. Trying to get anybody to change their mind about how things work in go-go is I think like an exercise in futility. You know what I'm saying? Like you obviously know I've been trying to do it for years and not very
Right.
successfully, even when I have had success. Um, so what do you think other than the songs is holding the genre back from international greatness? Or do you think it's already great, like find the way it is?
Shit, man. I don't. I mean, I don't think it's just this. It's like I guess you could say. I mean, it's who pushes it. It's like nobody here care. It seems like nobody here is trying to do anything to get it anywhere. They just want it right here, so they
Yeah.
can get rich off of it here. Like we're cool with it here. We'll just go do a few shows and we're good with it. It seems like that's just what everybody. Well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but from what I see, it seems like most people's just cool with being here. Going make 250, 150, 300, $350, twice, 3 times a week, and they just cool with it. Everybody cool with the. I know that's such and such. I know who he is. He played for this band. He played for that band. Everybody that local celebrity. It seems like people cool with it.
Yeah. I just don't understand it. I paid Boys to Men $125,000 to play at the casino for one show.
Hmm.
No go-go band makes anywhere close to that. So they're like there is there are more levels to the shit. You know what I'm saying? Boys and Men isn't even like hot right now. You know what I'm saying? There are Casino, a legacy act. You know what I'm saying? It,
Right.
it just it just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, Big, I really appreciate you doing this. I know this is not your favorite thing to do, so thank you for being a friend and doing it for me, and thank you to everybody that tuned in. We had a pretty good viewership today, man. People like you. I don't know why you ugly as shit, but people like you. So I look forward to when we can see each other again in person, my friend. And it's always a pleasure. And I'm glad you're doing so well, and the kids are doing so well. And we will talk offline soon, I'm sure. And did you have anything else you wanted to let the people know, or anything coming up that you want to tell anybody about? Or
Nah, I just want to say I wish that Gogo would get back to that grimy sound that we used to have. That stuff that we playing on is a disgrace, man. That stuff that we play on now is horrible. I
what you
don't
mean? That stuff that we play on.
them little jazz band systems.
Oh,
It's I'm telling you, when you went in the go-go and that thump was hitting you, that drive, that bass drum pushing in your chest, all that drive coming, that's what made you dance. You felt
right.
it. Now you can have a conversation in front of the speakers.
Yeah, that wasn't possible. But so you want the Rio quads back? That's what you're saying. Oh, Greg Jones said his angry face was an accident. He loves the interviews. Daryl Jones said another great show. Thank you so much, uh, everybody. So you want the Rio the quads back? You want Tbone to bring the quads back out and
Yeah, the
rock
quad, the
the
Bobby Smooting them, the systems like the Bobby Smoots and the Rios, like that's. I'm not saying that these systems that they have now they can't bring out more to do that, but they're not bringing it out. They're putting these little systems and they're just saying, "Oh, these are such and such. These are good." It's like, man, I don't care how much that little shit costs. That shit ain't thumping, dog. Like everybody, like I want it crystal clear. I want it clear. Let's get a digital board. Man, them analog boards will rock them digital boards out the socket when they come to go
Yeah, but
go.
them analog boards weigh like 700 pounds, and they're not trying to
Man,
lug
them,
that shit out every night.
them joints. But that's what they did. That was what had us that grimy, thumping, gritty sound. Maybe they can do it with a digital board, but more, power. Bigger amps and bigger speakers and stuff like that. But I All I know is that's not getting it. Like that's not when people from out of town would come and hear back in the day, it was just something that they never heard. You know, it's like look at them big ass speakers. That shit pushing their shirts moving. Like damn, this go-go shit is insane. Now you going in, it's like a mother. I don't know. It's not driving like it used
So
to.
everybody that's watching right now, go on your Instagram and your Facebook and put Dig Dug says hashtag bring GoGo systems back. Hashtag bring GoGo systems back. We're gonna start a movement, man. We're gonna start a. You know what? I wonder if that's sort of like indicative of not just go-go, but just the way music sounds. Because now all the rappers have got them soft ass beats and shit too. You know what I'm saying? Drake gets all R&B out and stuff. So maybe it's just all the same thing. And
But
maybe
we still on stage banging.
right,
Like we still on stage banging. Them young bands, them bounce beat bands, they banging.
right.
You know, everybody banging, but we ain't getting it on the outside like that.
Do they play
The
this?
crowd not getting it.
Do they use them same little systems at the bounce beat shows? I haven't been to a show. I've been in LA for 5 years, so I don't know.
I haven't been to a bounce beat show either, but I'm just saying that they are banging. Like they be
Right,
thumping, they be
right.
cranking. So they deserve them big systems too. Like I don't know what you got to do. They start saying they ugly. You don't fit in the clubs.
Right.
I don't know, but them joints, I'm telling you, you'll see a difference if you start putting them thumping systems back in there. People gonna feel like they got some thump.
Right.
They,
It's funny because Bobby Smoot is, Secret Society is one of my clients, and they're not even a go-go band, but Bobby Smoot is their sound guy. You know what I'm saying? And he brings the systems out for all of their shit. All right, so we're gonna start a campaign to bring go-go systems back. So everybody help out with that. Dig, I appreciate you, sir. Thanks for taking so much time and to talking to the people and talking to me. And we will talk soon, I'm sure. And send my love to the family, and we'll talk to you soon. All
all right, man.
right, man. Good to see you.
You too, man. Out.
All right. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That was awesome. Dig Dug is by far one of my favorite people in the entire universe, and one of my very closest friends. So I'm glad to finally get him on here. And it took some convincing because he does not like doing interviews at all, as you can probably tell. But I'm glad that he did it anyway. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure if you are looking for upcoming shows, you can find them at gogotix.co. Shows are starting to happen again. I'm not sure for how long because the cases are going back up again. So who knows? They might shut everything down again. But if you're looking for any go-go shows that are coming up, go ahead and hit gogotix.co. We also just launched basically flyer. So instead of just getting advertising, premium advertising on the site, you can also get your flyer design there now too. And I got my flyer designers are better than yours. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't talk shit enough. I'm talking shit right now. My flyer designers are better than yours. So go look at the site, go to gogotix.co and look at the flyer that's up for B King and TOB at Club One coming up on November 3rd, and look at the flyer for Sirius and Company's live stream from Union Stage on November 13th, and the show that just passed with Northeast Groovers and Still Familiar with the orange and red flyer with the neon lights on it. That was my flyer designers too. So if you want good flyer design, because most go-go flyer design is shitty, I'm sorry to say that, but go to gogotix.co/promote, and you can order your package there. I got a COVID special going on right now because I know everybody's hurting. $99 for the month. You get the flyer design and you get premium placement on the website. You get included in the email blast, and you get social posts as well. You can reach up to 10,000 people within a week. And that's $99 for the entire month. So also, you can just hit me up if you have any questions about that as well. There's a chat bot on the website. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you just press the little red thing in the bottom corner, and you can just ask a question. And as soon as somebody's able to, we'll get back to you with any questions that you have. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Next week we have who do we have next week? I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed that I should know that right now, but let's see. Next week, I think it's Wes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So next week we got my man Wes Watkins, dynamite drummer from Sirius Company. He's played in a couple of my bands as well before. Plays for the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Carolyn Malachi. He's got his own group called Got My Own Sound. Amazing musician. But yeah, he plays for Sirius Company now. So we got him next week, and then the week after that we got rescheduled BAM 640 since he was having some technical difficulties last time. So we got BAM 640 coming up on November 11th. On November 18th, I got my man Doc Robinson from Black Passion. Going to be talking about his thoughts on the Gogo Awards amongst other things. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to check out GOGOTIX.co. It's .co, not .com. .co is like the cool people shit. It's cooler than .com. So just so y'all know, just leave off the M. So leave off the M for Malachi. There you go. You like that? All right. So GOGOTIX.co. That's where you can get all the listings for all the shows coming up. You can also see what all for all the like actual Gogo concerts coming up, and concerts will be on there too once the bigger venues open. Right now, we just got Gogo stuff on there, but you can also see the upcoming episodes for Gogotalx. I got a blog on there as well, so there's news. You can subscribe to the blog, and it'll shoot you an email, let you know when there's a new post that comes up. We do a post every couple of days or whatever, just to kind of let you know what's going on with Gogo. Also, please, if you haven't already, click the subscribe and the bell icon below so you'll get notifications of when these shows come up. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube pretty soon. So if you have a friend that hasn't subscribed yet, please have them do so as soon as possible and tell them to stop bullshitting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. All right. Have a good one.